who had done one. He said, I want to turn your book into a videotape. And I said, no, I'm an actress. Why would I want to do that? I've never heard of it. And then he persuaded me, and I thought, well, you know, maybe it would be a good thing to do for making more money for my political organization. And so we did it on a spit and a prayer, you know, with no money. I had to memorize the script, you know, I did my own hair and makeup. And suddenly, it motivated people to spend the money to buy the hardware because they wanted to do it over and over and over again.
Why do you think it is, though, that in this country, I mean, everybody talks about exercise and about getting fit, and we've been talking, it's been a national discussion for years now, and yet obesity rates are still, well, just going up and up.
That's right, and it has a lot to do with the food that we eat and the fast foods and what children eat. But the fact is, even if you're born with the obesity and the fat gene, if you exercise, you can override the gene. You're not, it's not your fate to be obese just because your parents are.
It's so hard, though, the exercise. Oh, my God.
Yeah, but...
I mean...
He does it. Listen, no, let me tell you something. Do I like to exercise? No. I don't like to. I don't wake up in the morning saying, oh, goody, I'm going to exercise. Why do I do it? I do it because when it's over, I feel so good.
That's true, yeah.
You know, and so it's, you know, I love the Nike slogan, just do it. Because it just do it. And you begin to realize how good it makes you feel.
It does change the way you see
think about
things
yourself.
and think about yourself.
It changes your head, not just your
For me, the hardest part was once you actually, getting started, once you actually see results, then you're like, oh, okay, you know, I don't have to look quite as flabby as I always do. And you know, I mean, I still am like, I say that to myself every day.
That means you have body issues, man, because there's no flab on you. No, but you know, when I first started doing it, I remember when I was making a movie, and after shooting all day, I'd teach a class in St. George, Utah. After about a month.
I love the image, of you teaching a class. Like, people show up to your class and like, oh, Jane Fonda's teaching this class?
I would teach at 5 in the morning before going to the set of 9 to 5, and you know, Dolly said, are you crazy? What are you doing? Anyway, so this woman says to me, Jane, I'm diabetic. I don't have to take insulin anymore.
Wow.
Another woman said, you know, I was brushing my teeth today and I saw in the mirror I had a muscle. I'd never seen muscle before.
That must be a great feeling for you.
I went to work today and I stood up to my boss for the first time, and that's when I realized this is much more than about just how you look.
Right.
It's about who you are.
Yeah. And I'm 44 now. My mom, who's just about turned 88 in February, says that this is the best time of her life. At 74, do you feel like you're in the best time?
Never been happier.
Really?
Never been happier, yeah.
That's so, I think it's so empowering for you. Why do you feel that?
Well, first of all, first I thought, I'm really special. I'm in my 70s and I feel so great. And then I wrote this book called Primetime. I spent 4 years researching it. What did I find out? The majority of people over 50 are better off. Less stressed, less anxious. You know, we have this long backward view. We've been there, we've done that, we survived it, everything's going to be okay. Things don't upset us as much when we get older.
See, I used to, when I was in my 20s, even my 30s, I would hear people say this, and I never believed it.
I know, I didn't either.
I thought they were just fooling themselves. They were trying to, like, you know.
I know.
But at 44, I feel like this is the best time in my life, and I feel like it keeps getting better.
Well, see, 44, look, I come from a long line of depressives. I mean, from both sides of my family, so I thought this was going to be bad. And when I was your age, as I approached the latter part of my 40s, every morning I'd wake up and my first 6 thoughts were negative. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to become a crotchety old lady. And then I turned 60. It's so good.
What was that change? Well,
it happens to most people over 50. Rich, poor, famous, doesn't matter. Most people, even if they're physically, you know, like have challenges physically, they tend to be better off. They feel better about themselves, and it's because we have a long backward view, and there were a lot of other reasons too. But I think you also have to be intentional about it. You know, you have
intentional in what way?
Intentional in the sense that I have a finite amount of time ahead of me. You know, I call it my third act. How do I want to be going through my third act? Well, in order to know how you want to go through it, you have to know where you've been. So going back and looking at your past, what was that about?
So you've had like 23 acts. I mean, you've had, this is not just your third act. I mean, you've had multiple lives.
I've had many scenes in the course of my 3 acts.
But I think that's a great...
But I've gone back and I've learned from them. It's not just having experiences that make you wise. It's reflecting.
When you look back at how you were as a teen or in your early 20s...
You couldn't pay me to go back. I wouldn't want to go back.
Really?
No, it was not so easy for me. I mean, for girls, teenagehood is really hard. You know, you're really real feisty when you're young. You wrestle and you climb trees and you say, you know, oh yeah, he says, you know. I'm looking at a man and you don't quite probably understand. But the women do. The women understand. And then you hit puberty and suddenly you want to be popular. It's all about being thin and how you look. And those of you who have teenage daughters, you know, it's really, really hard. And you tend to become, instead of being the subject of your own lives, you become the object of someone else's life. And you can go through a whole lot of your adult life being the object of somebody else's life. I did.
Yeah.
And there were a few that I, you know, one husband and another husband and another husband, until finally I thought, I want to be the subject of my own life again, and I have.
The subject of your own life.
Yes.
Okay. Good. We're going to have more with Jane in a moment. We'll be right back.